Hello and welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Welcome back to New Vegas, where today we're going to be taking a look at some kind of interesting weapons. This is going to be the Bladed Gauntlet and the Cram Opener, the unique version of the Bladed Gauntlet, which are two potential early to mid-game weapons that you can get. You can actually get a Bladed Gauntlet very early on if you want to run to like the Powder Ganger's prison, because there is always one guaranteed in the safe in there, so you can grab a Bladed Gauntlet that way. You can also get the Cram Opener without having to kill the NPC that actually has it, because he can die in other ways. So the Bladed Gauntlet requires 25 unarmed and 5 strength to wield. Fairly average strength and okay unarmed. If you want to run and get this early on and you're running an unarmed character, you're probably going to have high strength regardless, since it benefits unarmed. The Bladed Gauntlet will do 25 damage on hit, 39 damage per second, which are both okay in the early game. It's not one of the craziest amounts of damage or damage per second, but still decent. This one does 40 crit damage. Weirdly enough, this one has higher crit damage than it does regular damage, which is good. This one has a 2x crit modifier, which makes it so this one's actually pretty decent early on if you want to grab it for an unarmed build, because you can at least get a decent amount of crits with this. This one costs 26 action points, which is okay for an unarmed weapon. This one does weigh a lot at 10 weight. It's one of the heaviest unarmed weapons in the game. I think it's actually tied with the heaviest. I think it's this and like the Industrial Hand, and maybe there's one or two others that weigh 10. Oh wait, no, the Embrace the Mantis King has actually the heaviest, I think, at like 12. So the Bladed Gauntlet is one of the few unarmed weapons that can actually make use of the heavyweight perk, which is kind of useful. This one only has 60 item HP, which does make it so that this one breaks pretty quick, making it so that if you do get the Bladed Gauntlet in the early game, it can still be a little bit awkward because you might want to save it for particular enemy types. For the general pros of the Bladed Gauntlet, this one is available in the early game, so that is pretty nice, and it does have good crits, so it can actually rack up a decent amount of damage if you want to take this on an unarmed build. There is still some better options than this if you know where to go and you want to get them, especially if you want to go grab Chance's Knife, since a lot of unarmed builds also are melee builds, and that would be the best early game option. But the Bladed Gauntlet is not a terrible early game option, but it's not a weapon I really see a whole lot of people talk about because they are kind of rare too. For the cons, this one does have low item HP. Both the unique version and this version break fairly fast, so you probably don't want to be using them too much. If you have weapon repair kits, you can kind of get around this, or once you get jury rigging, it becomes a lot easier to fix these up, and then the low item HP doesn't matter. These also fall off later compared to other unarmed and melee weapons. They're okay in the early game. Again, if you're just playing through the game normally, they're a decent option then. They're going to be better than a lot of other early game weapons that we have talked about, like the machete. Potentially, they're better than Brass Knuckles, although Brass Knuckles will go a lot further than this. There is also quite a few perks that can help out these. Heavyweight does help these out because it cuts them in half, so they go from 10 weight to 5 weight, which is kind of cool. Purifier to kill certain enemies like Death Claws and Super Mutants, which can be good on any unarmed and melee build. It's Piercing Strike so that you can punch through armor. That's really nice. Super Slam so you can knock enemies down. If you knock them down, you can beat them up really easy. And then Slayer to attack faster. All really good staples for an unarmed or melee build. This one doesn't really have any unique perks to it, similar to like Pyromaniac like we talked about with the Superheated Saturnite Fist. So the Bladed Gauntlet, I think I'm going to put this one into like C tier on my tier list. I think it's fine enough. I honestly don't use this that much. When I do use it, it feels pretty decent, but it does break fairly fast. So even on like my unarmed character builds, I usually don't go for this, especially since you can go and get Love and Hate right away if you know where to go. And that one is kind of like my default early game to mid game weapon for an unarmed weapon. So I think it's better than the Bladed Gauntlet, but the Bladed Gauntlet is still pretty decent overall for what you would kind of want it for. Let's move over to the unique version, which is called the Cram Opener. So this one is found on Little Buster. He is a unique NPC that is found at Camp McCarran. He is hunting down the fiends, which if you kill the fiends and then talk to him about it, he will just disappear from Camp McCarran, and then his body will show up later in Freeside. So then you can take the Cram Opener off of him. You could also reverse pickpocket him and get this off of him, or just kill him and take it off of him. Those are all options too. This one requires 25 unarmed and 5 strength, same as the regular Bladed Gauntlet. This one does 28 damage per hit, 48 damage per second, so it is a bit better, but about the same attack speed as the regular Bladed Gauntlet. This one does 44 crit damage, again, higher than its regular damage and kind of a weird amount of crit damage. This one also has a 2x crit modifier, also costs 26 action points, also weighs 10, and this one has slightly better item health at 75, so it still breaks fairly fast. It's still not that great for an unarmed weapon. I don't think that this one is really worth going out of your way to get, but since you don't really need to kill the NPC, or you don't really need to reverse pickpocket him, the Cram Opener is a little bit more useful than some other weapons like the Big Boomer or like Corporal Sterling's lever action rifle, where if you don't want to kill those NPCs, you're going to spend quite a while reverse pickpocketing them. because for some odd reason they're both very difficult to reverse pickpocket if you don't have high sneak and a stealth boy. Like the time you're getting to like New Vegas, you probably already have some decent unarmed weapons, and you can get some other decent unarmed weapons from there. Especially if you want to buy some from the gun runners, or if you already have grabbed like Love and Hate, or if you want to grab like Pushy. So this one I think is better than the Bladed Gauntlet, but I still think I'm going to put this one into like C tier. I don't use it very often. It's okay when I do use it. It doesn't feel bad or anything, but it's not really one of my favorite unarmed weapons. So that'll do it for the Bladed Gauntlet and its unique variant. Tell me your thoughts on the Bladed Gauntlet and the Cram Opener down in the comments below. I do at least like the name of the Cram Opener since it refers to the cram that you can eat in the game. Maybe it should also come with a bonus of giving you like double item HP or something whenever you are eating those. That would be kind of a fun little bonus to it. Either way, tell me your thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.